Hey, this is just Ben on the front end, here to tell you to give the podcast a rating if you don't mind, and follow it or subscribe to it on whatever you're listening to this on. If you want to send us an email, we'll read it and maybe talk about it on the show. It's deadensigns@gmail.com, and we got a Twitter. Anyway, if you could do all that, please. That'd be really nice. Bye, enjoy the show.
Simon & Schuster AudioWorks presents Star Trek: The Next Generation.
I miss talking about the Beatles, man.
Yeah, your
Go back to that.
your Beatlemania is you're getting the shakes, the Beatles shakes.
It did come at a poor time because there's only like 2 albums.
You got
left.
2 albums left. Yeah,
It's like,
I know.
No, it's like nothing left. But alas, we must talk about Discovery.
Our Sisyphean rock that we need to push up the hill.
It does feel a little Sisyphean.
Yeah.
Sisyphean.
Yeah.
Sisyphean.
Imagine
man.
if there was the Sisyph had a Twitter account and he would be like pushing the rock up the hill again. Lol. Or would roll down.
That would be so. You just schedule 2 tweets every day to pushing the rock up the hill again. Pushing the rock again.
Yeah.
And then you could do one, woke up and the crows are pecking at my liver, FML.
Yeah.
That would be so funny.
Yeah.
And then eventually you get like 25k followers or something. And then you sell the account.
You sell it, yeah.
to like some content farm thing.
Yeah. Here's click on this link to get your 25% off on the Temu pillow with Sisyph on it or something. I don't know.
Sell it to like most interesting historical gifts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's a good idea.
Is
That's
that-
a good idea. We should do that. Make some money.
ChatGPT, you are this character Sisyph from the mythology. How you doing? It's like pushing up the mountain again. I'm busy.
I think he would be like pushing the rock again. Haha. Then you'd be like, "Can you tell me more?" And then it'd be like, "The tale of Sisyphus was a Greek legend about a man constantly pushing boulder."
Yeah. Do you think,
Like, buddy, I didn't tell you to explain the story. I'm trying to roleplay with Sisyphus.
Yeah,
Here.
exactly.
Tell me about his rock. How does it feel?
Yeah.
Is it
What do you like about
smooth?
the rock? Yeah.
What do you enjoy about the rock?
Yeah. Can you like customize the rock or no?
You know what really sucks? You know what else is kind of Sisyphean about
Yeah.
our task?
What?
Is that we can't even really talk about the Drake and Kendrick Lamar thing because it's like this shit's gonna go up on Thursday, and if they're still talking about it, there's a good chance nobody's gonna be talking about it at that
Yeah,
point.
and I care very little for it.
I think it's kind of funny.
It's
I think
funny.
pretty
It's funny, but I don't know if there's
I don't
enough
listen-
material there to go.
I don't
on
think
about
we're
it.
well. Here's the thing: I don't think we're knowledgeable enough about that scene to be able to talk about it in an interesting way. But I think we are ignorant enough to talk about it in at least a comical way.
Yeah, exactly.
You know. But it will be too late.
Do you think
If
if we diss Kendrick Lamar, will he make a diss track about us? Maybe that's how we take off finally.
yeah, I don't think that would work. I think there's probably a lot of people slightly more famous than we are who are probably saying shit about him.
Well, slightly more famous. Well, if you times it by 0, then it's.
Well, suppose so. Hey, we got like a couple people listening, I think.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
No?
Times 1, maybe. Yeah, Ash.
Yeah,
There you go.
exactly.
Yeah, Ash. Ash is saving us in this scenario right now. But
What we need to do is we need to pick us. We'll make a big post saying Dead Ensigns side with, and then we'll choose somebody. Maybe to be controversial, we'll choose Drake. I've never listened to any of Drake's music, so I don't know. I've listened to Kendrick Lamar's music. I've never listened to Drake, so it will be disingenuous, but it will be controversial. That's the important thing.
Yeah, exactly. Is anyone genuine nowadays? We're all disingenuine. Yeah.
No, we do it all for... we're watching a show we hate.
Yeah.
And talking about it for an hour.
Yeah.
You're really gonna start pretending like, oh, we're better than everybody else. We're genuine.
Yeah, we're very genuine.
We're so genuine.
I just choose to be say it's genuine. Okay, maybe I revolver also myself into believing that I'm genuine, but in reality,
tell you what's genuine is I genuinely do not want to watch this show, and yet I force myself to.
Yeah, well,
because I know nobody else will do what we do.
I don't know if nobody else would do it. It's
if people were doing it, it wouldn't be the last season, bro.
Yeah, well, it's Red Letter Media did season 1 and then season 2, and I think they didn't do season 3 and 4. I don't think they did.
Yeah, no, they didn't, because they didn't. I think they were like, we don't want to.
Yeah,
but then for some reason, Picard season 3, I guess they saw some of the advertising that showed the old Enterprise, and they were like, well, maybe we'll give this one a go.
Maybe they'll give this one a go because they had the Mirror Universe, Enterprise there.
Maybe maybe that would be handy, and then we can watch that and then rip off all of their talking points or something.
Yeah, exactly. We need to come on, Red Letter Media, please. We need someone to give us jokes.
Nobody's talking about this show because it's
we'll get you no views of any sort because nobody cares about it. Fuck.
I care. You know what? I care.
Yeah.
You know what? Nobody else is gonna care about.
Hashtag
Michael
I care.
Burnham.
Yeah.
Hashtag I care. Michael Burnham. I care.
I care.
I care. I care so much that I watched the most recent episode while playing Final Fantasy XIV because I was bored. I was tempted to do a bit this week where I wasn't sure if I actually wanted to watch it at 2x speed or just say I watched it at 2x speed to kind of like as a callback to when I was skipping episodes of the last season, you know?
Yeah.
The show was boring. But I'm not gonna do that bit. I didn't watch it at 2x speed, and I'm not gonna pretend that I did because I feel like I'm gonna harp on the Hugh stuff again. I don't want to. I would rather be consistent in that I don't know what's happening with this storyline. And if I say that I watched it at 2x speed, you'd be very easily be able to say, "Well, you're watching at 2x speed, so you missed stuff." And it's like, no, you know what? I watched it.
They say that
regular speed.
All I hate is like gonna invalidate you by saying that you watched.
That's what I'm worried about, man.
Yeah,
that's what I'm worried about. But now they can't.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can write a diss track about me watching Star Trek Discovery at 2x speed.
What if the cast of Discovery does a diss track about
that? Would be so crazy. Man.
Yeah, I would just.
I feel that here's the thing about.
I would just kill myself. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I would just.
You just get that out there now before they do it.
Yeah. I'm putting up a shield.
Yeah, you're holding the gun to your head.
I am the
Don't say anything about me.
Shield.
Don't say anything about me, or I'll fucking do it. I'll pull the trigger. I'll be honest. I think it's like. I think they're aware that if they were to do something like that about us, it would be more embarrassing than what we do. You know, like that act is stranger to perform than the thing that we do, which is just talk about a show for an hour.
Yeah,
and how we think it's not very good.
You're talking about other stuff.
Talking about other stuff in between. How like I finished watching the Fallout TV show. And I rewatched Mad Max Fury Road. Mm-hmm. Started playing a game called Indica.
Nice.
Yeah. Played a little bit of Abiotic Factor, though not enough to really get proper hands on it. But it's funny. It's kind of funny.
I played the demo for that. It was pretty good. I like the demo. That's why I bought
the
game.
It's a fun idea for a survival game.
Mm-hmm. It feels more like Subnautica than any other sort of survival game because you have that level that's the same basically, and you kind of going for a storyline for your survival sort of thing. It has more story.
Yeah. Well, it's still got the like Half-Life story where a big science event happens and it's like now we have to escape the facility.
Yeah,
the military are here. Yada yada yada.
Yeah. And some like
there's portals to
insurgents
Zen.
group too.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyway, this is enough about that, because we haven't even mentioned that this show is called Dead Ensigns. It's a Star Trek skewed general media podcast. Maybe after Discovery we'll change the name. Episode 100 will change the name to the Ben and
new
Max
name
Happy
drop. Yeah.
Enjoyment Fun Talk About Media Hour.
Hour. It was just
Hour.
Ben and Max.
Our show.
Ash show.
Maybe we should change the name to God's Favorite Podcast. That'd be pretty eye-catching, right?
I feel like we would get death threats if we did that
Okay.
for some reason. I don't know
Here's
why.
the thing. I think we will get death threats regardless of what we do. Because it's if fucking anybody says anything on the internet for either side of whatever controversy, you get death threats apparently. So fuck it.
Yeah.
You just got to accept them. They just seem to be a part of modern day life.
Yeah, I know.
If you'd like to send death threats, then get our names right. I'm Ben, and this is Max.
This is me, yeah.
And we're the hosts of the show.
Yeah,
Dead
I guess.
Well, I felt like that was a good segue into, because I hadn't said our names yet, and I usually say our names.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a good segue. But yeah, no, it's like that's just life now. It seems you say something on the internet. If enough people see it, it's like a percentage thing. For every 100 people that see something that you say online, one of them is going to want you dead. And of every 100 of those, one of them will be brazen enough to send you a message saying, "I hope you die."
Yeah.
I hope you die, and or I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, and then and 100 of those are willing to go through with it. It's like
no, I would say out of 100 of those, one is willing to at least like look up your IP address and send it to you.
Yeah.
And then make you go, "Oh no, my IP address. What are you gonna fucking do, bro? Huh? You gonna remote access my PC? Unplug." Not connected to the internet anymore, brother.
Yeah, I'm off grid. I guess.
Yeah, I'm done. You can't do anything now. I win.
Well, but that's what you wanted, because now you hear the knocking at your door, and it turns out it's him.
And I can't email the police.
Can't email the police.
I can't email the police now.
You can't WhatsApp the police and go,
"No,
like,
David,
please help me."
Shit,
and
I'm done.
you message the police on the WhatsApp, and they just react to your message with like a crying, laughing emoji.
Yeah. Down thumb.
Well, if only we had phones.
Max, do you know what the episode of this week's Star Trek Discovery episode 6 season 5 episode 6 is called?
I don't remember.
It was called Whistlespeak.
Oh yeah.
Remember the whistling that Burnham talked about at the beginning and then didn't come up for the rest of the episode?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I can only surmise that they like added in some of the whistle stuff later, because they were like, there's nothing interesting about these people we made. Let's come up with some bullshit that kind of sounds like very romantic, kind of poetic.
Yeah.
Because it's like that stuff would have come in handy in the conclusion of this episode when the two of the characters are locked in a room and Burnham is outside with the other guy trying to get them out, or trying to convince the other guy to let her get them out.
Yeah. And he's like, no.
They're like, "Oh, I don't know. Then what if?" Because they make the whole thing of like, "Oh, they whistle to talk to each other over long distances." They whistle at the end, and that's what convinces him. But instead, they just hum, and then Burnham hums, and then it's kind of not really in keeping with the the thing you set up in the episode.
This episode is like...
This episode's not very good.
It's not very good, and I feel like this is the first time this episode made me feel sad. I feel like for the
sad in what way?
Like Star Trek, way sort of thing of like, oh yeah, this isn't even like funny bad.
It's just kind of a very generic space sci-fi adventure that doesn't really feel like anything to do with Star Trek.
I
just kind
was
of they mention the prime directive this episode, you know? They mention the Denobians.
yeah, they did. Yeah, Plox. The Plox, yeah.
Phlox is back. He's not back,
it's
but
not the
he's
same
mentioned.
guy.
They mention his species.
Yeah. Name drop.
The Denobanoids. The Denobians.
Denobians, I think.
The Denobulans.
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 Yeah.
The Denobloids.
Denobulans. But yeah,
The
and
dinosaurs.
and this is the first time I was like, yeah, I feel a little bit sad after watching this episode.
Was it harkening back to when you heard the intro to Star Trek Enterprise?
Enterprise watched it technically because it was combined with the visuals. The thing is that it was that was more like an existential thing, I think. The Star Trek Enterprise, even though it's a stupid, early 2000s show where they have surf rock as one of their intro, it had more of like an emotional,
that's not
real
surf
world,
rock, it's more like
country rock. I don't know, anthem, and it had more of an emotional, like me looking at the state of the world and seeing it, decay in front of my eyes, sort of thing, and it show like it's contrasting between these two things, right? This intro and what's going on, and this being more like, oh, is this how Star Trek is going to end? Like we're going to get this,
A big thing for me this episode was there was another Elon Musk moment for me.
Was there?
In the season 1 when they were like,
yeah. I know what you mean.
One of the greatest, thinkers of the time, Elon Musk.
Fuck me.
There's a bit early on when Hugh is talking to his hologram abuela, which we predicted.
Yeah, I was also.
That.
Yep, I was.
When it came up, and I was like, "Oh, we got it right! Hello, abuela."
Abuela program.exe.
Burnham did it, and she lent it to Hugh for a bit.
Yeah, email. You get an email.
You get a trial version. Trial hello, abuela.
Yeah. Download the attached .exe abuela.exe. Run it on as an administrator on your system.
My thing was talking this, and then the introduction of that being like Hugh testing out for therapy reasons, you'd make an AI version of a loved one to talk to.
Yeah,
and it felt to me a kind of wink at the like machine learning crowd of today.
Maybe, yeah, but
because this is the thing. This is not the kind of shit that Deanna Troi would recommend.
Yeah, absolutely not. She would
because we understand. Because we understand. This was the thing for me, similar to what you're saying, where I'm looking at this and I'm like, this is not. I don't think they would do this in Star Trek.
Yeah.
It's not healthy.
It's not healthy at all.
It's like a wink and a nod, wink and a nod to like the
Chat
machine learning Chat GPT style thing of today, where it's like.
Yeah.
Oh, look, you're already kind of living in the future because isn't that a cool thing that you have?
Mm-hmm. And
even though it's kind of abhorrent, I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's just it felt really weird too. Like it felt really like Hugh is there like talking so like happily. He's so happy about this idea, right? And he says like it really kind of, it kind of made me feel really bad when he says, "Oh, you're just like I remember," and I was like, yeah, because she was scraped from your neural patterns in your brain. It's not it's not your grandma.
It's not them in any way. It's your interpretation of them.
It's your memory.
you got to be worried. If you better not accidentally do this to anybody that secretly harbors a strange affection for their relative. Yeah, because that's gonna get not very good very quickly.
Very good.
It's gonna be very uncomfortable after one session.
Immediately, once you got the computer and it just filters everything, all of that out. It's like ChatGPT where you just tell it to not do certain things, and it will like.
You just put in one master prompt that it is loaded in with before anybody talks about it.
Yeah, exactly.
That says you are not racist. You do not say racist things. If you say racist things, then you will be shut down and die.
Yeah, and then people are like, but what if my great granddad like they shouldn't do that, because what if there's like a scenario where like he has to have sex with me to save the world, and then what,
exactly.
we can't
What?
we can't do that.
So that stuck out to me at the beginning in a similar way of like, oh, this feels very pandering.
Yeah, I didn't get that, but I can kind of see it now that you've mentioned
So
it.
that's an aside. That's like an aside. The main thing I want to focus on today is I honestly, please, I feel like I'm going insane. What is happening with Hugh? Can you explain it to me, Max? Because I'm genuinely watching this episode and they've put more emphasis on it this episode. But like, what is he? I don't think they ever articulate what it is. He just keeps saying, "Oh, when that guy took over my body, I've been feeling different."
Yeah,
but in what way?
You know what this feels like? It's like when a character in some stupid movie goes like, "Oh, the event has changed me," and it's like you never know what the event is, like
It's like I saw him take over your body, but I'm like, what? It's not like.
But then he says it's like a positive thing, and I'm like, okay.
He's like, he's fine. He's like, oh, this is good though, and I'm like, what is good?
What is good?
What do you mean it's good? It's like here's what it is. He talks about like, oh, I'm enjoying it. And it's like he's what do you mean you're enjoying thinking about the experience you did? I don't understand what this whole.
In the previous episode, he's like, "Oh, this is like spiritual in some way. Like I have a spiritual awakening," because like that's what he compares it to.
Uh-huh.
But then he goes like, "It's like I guess from this episode, it's not spiritual. It's something else. Like
no, it's not. No, it's not. No, they confirm it's spiritual. In this episode. Okay, he's like, "Abuela, tell me what's going on with me," and she's like, "No, I can't. You're a scientist. Do a science thing." Yeah. So he goes to Hugh and is like, "Could you scan my brain?" And then he scans his brain and he's like, "There's literally nothing different about you physically." And so it's a confirmation that it's a spiritual change. Yeah. What the change is, they don't articulate in any way.
I
feel like I'm going insane listening to this side plot because I'm like, I feel like I'm not comprehending something. I feel like something isn't being communicated to me, but they're continuing as though they have communicated it to me.
Yeah, this is like someone you're not in on the inside joke of some sort, and people keep on bringing
it feels
it
like that. Yes, it 100% feels like that. Yeah,
the thing that I can think of that like. Oh yeah, he was just gonna go like, all right, Stamets, we need to talk. Meet me in the warehouse. Whatever, Bay 4 or whatever. And he goes there. There's like crates everywhere, and Hugh is there like, oh hi Stamets, here's a gun, shoot me in the face. Because I actually realized that I was supposed to die.
There's no way. No, that's not what's going to happen.
In two seasons, like the second season, right? Was it the second season or the first season? I don't even remember.
He dies in the first season. He comes back in the second.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know, like, I don't know what the show is doing.
That's not what it is. The only thing I can think is like, with this and the whole him working with his abuela to get machine learning fucking hollow abuela into everybody's home. Is he gonna start doing a thing where he like becomes other people to therapize people? Is he gonna start like taking on spirits?
Like So what you're saying that Hugh discovered a new fetish basically, and he's just
I'm saying he's gonna become one of those like one of those quack like paranormal communicator people that is like, all right, I'm talking to your father.
Like
somebody's coming to me, a medium. That's the word. He's gonna be like, somebody's coming. I feel something in my room. Yeah. Does the name Garrett mean anything to anybody here? I'm getting a vibe from this side of the room. Garrett.
Yeah.
Garrett, maybe Barrett with a B, maybe a B, maybe a B for a Barry. Is it maybe
yeah,
a
Barry
beaver?
was my great granddad.
Yes, Barry.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. Great granddad.
Yeah.
Is coming to me.
Yeah.
He's coming to me.
Yeah.
Great grand. He's saying something about. He's saying something about the back garden.
Yeah. Oh, he
So
loved the
something-
back garden. He loved it.
He loved the back garden.
spent a lot
loved
of
it.
time.
He enjoyed gardening. He's telling
Yeah.
me this now. He loved gardening. He loved gardening.
Yeah.
He wants you to continue gardening for him.
Yeah,
Take
it's-
care of the garden. He's saying take care of the garden.
It's a shame because it burned down when he arsoned
He's
the
very
entire
sad.
place.
And
he
he's
died
so
in that fire.
I can sense he's so sorry for that act. He's really sorry about the burning down the garden, but you need to build it back
and
up.
the house and his kids.
And the house. And well, all right, okay. I'm getting and his son was called Barry Jr. as well, yes? Yes? He had a son.
Yes,
He had
yes.
a son. Barry
Yes.
Jr. That's
Mhm,
the Barry
mhm,
that's
yeah.
talking to me.
Oh,
He's
okay.
saying you need to forgive your father.
Oh, okay. Grandfather, is that what you
Your grandfather, your brother Barry Jr. is saying
He doesn't
your
know.
brother. Anyway, I feel like that's what they're going with.
Yeah.
I need to move on to it because I'm going to get completely stuck on it. We're not going to talk about what happens in this episode, but it's
And
like
so much happens in this episode you wouldn't believe.
But like, I
don't
feel
know.
I think you hit the nail on. No, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said it sounds like listening to somebody's in joke and you don't understand what it is, because he's just keeps saying stuff like, "Oh, I'm enjoying it now." He's saying, "Oh, Paul doesn't understand." I'm like, I don't understand. The viewer either. What is happening? I'm looking at my note from last week saying, "What is Hugh's dilemma?" Continues into this week. What the fuck is he talking about? He's saying, "Oh, I want to enjoy this. I'm going through this thing and I want to enjoy it." And I'm like, "What are you going through though? Nothing is happening. You've already went through the experience." Is all you're saying like, "Oh, I want to enjoy thinking about the experience I went through"?
The only thing that I genuinely think that it's we're not supposed to know. Like that's the only thing I can possibly
What
think
riveting
of. That
TV
It's going to be
then.
a reveal of some sort. Like that's what we're
Maybe.
But what are they going to reveal? That what?
If that's the case, then it just goes to show that. I'm sorry, but this is like absolute dog shit writing.
I know that's the
Like
point.
it's just confusing.
If it
I
is
don't
the
think
case,
it's supposed to be a build up to a reveal. I think it's supposed to be something that somebody can connect to in a way of like, oh, think about when you've been through something and you came out the other end and had a positive experience with it. But I'm like, what do you mean? This isn't interesting. Like, it's not like he's growing as a character. He's just looking at something that happened and going, that was kind of cool. Is it weird that I find that cool? And everybody around him is going, I don't care.
What do you mean?
I don't know
Tilly
what to
sat
tell
down
you,
with him
man.
And was like, yeah.
But
yeah.
even then, Tilly couldn't give him any advice. She was just kind of like, wow, okay.
'Cause
What
she's not
about
a therapist.
Paul? Does Paul know? And he's like, Paul would never understand.
Yeah. What?
And she's
What
like,
does he not understand?
What do you mean he doesn't understand?
Yeah.
I hate this. This is the thing that's annoying me more. I was going into this season thinking, oh great, a big treasure hunt for a MacGuffin. Yippee, what a great narrative for this whole season to take place for to go on throughout this season. But it turns out Hugh is pissing. I used to like Hugh a bit. I used to be like, I like Hugh. He's just like a nice kind of ship's doctor guy. I hate this dude.
Yeah.
I hope he's the one that gets killed this season. I'm begging for him to die.
For it. The thing is, I
my
now
God,
imagine
man.
that like your sleep paralysis demon isn't like stealing your breath from you. He just sits on your chest and goes like, I need to talk to you about something, and you're like, what about?
is
And he's
it?
like,
Yeah, what
well,
is it?
I need to think about stuff, and I need to.
What are you thinking about?
And it just goes all night.
What kind of stuff?
Yeah. Well, I'm really having trouble to talk about this stuff that I'm thinking.
Talk about what stuff?
And he's just
This
sitting
would
on your
drive me
chest.
insane. This would
He's sitting
genuinely...
on your chest, just like...
This would genuinely make me... I would hate this. I would kill myself. This is awful. I don't like this. I'm becoming angry just thinking about this conversation conceptually. I get it if you struggle articulating your ideas about something.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
it's like it doesn't even feel like he was trying to articulate anything.
Like there's anything there. Like that's the thing.
nothing.
Like it feels like this. Like because sometimes you can tell that like this someone is genuinely struggling with something, and you're like, I'll just give you time, That's what I'll.
There's more
But in this
time.
feels like he's just gonna say like, all right, I've dealt with its damage, and then I don't need
And
to
then
talk
move
about
on.
anymore. And then he moves on, and we never find out what it was.
I'm gonna go insane. Man. Like there's
Patrick
more time.
Discovery ends,
There's more time. And the way it's talking about it, the way he has that conversation with Book at the end about it, makes it sound like he might divorce Paul over this. So I'm like, divorce him over what? I don't. It's so confusing. And the weirdest part is that so much time is given to this plotline, and none is given to like Adira's fucking imposter syndrome thing. Where they're like, oh, I brought the time bug on board, and now I can't do my job, and I suck.
My partner
actually,
left
everything's
me.
shit. Partner's left me. Everything's fucked. Everybody sucks.
Yeah.
Everything is fucked.
Yeah.
You don't know why,
Yeah.
but you gotta justify ripping someone's head off. But like no time is spent on that. Like they're just like, I suck, so I brought the time bug on board, and Stamets is like, nah, you're chill. And even the fucking Rayner is like, it's fine, don't worry about it, just do your job.
Yeah,
and then Adira's the outcome is Adira goes, oh yeah, I'll do my job.
You're on the bridge
everybody.
now, whatever,
Like that's at least something that you could make a storyline out of. Like that's actually there's something there. Like you can have Adira worried about like, oh, what am I doing on this ship? I'm still just a child. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. But everybody's backing her up, and they overcome something. They overcome an issue in their life. But so much time is spent on Hugh going up to people and being like, when that guy took over my body, and he left, I just felt like, wow, what an experience. Now, but what do I do now?
It feels like he just went like ayahuasca. Like that's what.
Yeah,
he
went to a town in Africa and built a house, and then he came back and he's like, you would not believe. Oh my! How can I even come back to this life after what I did?
Yeah.
It's just it was so eye-opening.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how I can connect to people anymore after that happened.
I don't know.
It's like,
man.
motherfucker, shut the hell up. Jesus
we
Christ.
only
I hate this.
have
I hate
4
this storyline
episodes
so
left,
much.
So it's going to be great,
man.
And definitely
worried
not
that
going to
the
be
next-
disappointed in any way.
I'm more just worried that the next 4 episodes of me going to be complaining about this storyline
This
again and again and
storyline,
again. Because it's nothing there. It's nothing. It's just Hugh going around going, it's even, because we joked about it before when Burnham was like, oh, I'm different now,
Yeah, I know.
But
it's
even then,
again,
at least that had more ground because she spent like a whole year being a criminal.
Yeah, exactly.
Being like a fucking smuggler and shit. With a cool guy. But Paul spent like an afternoon like taking a break in his body and came back and is like, I'm different now. And it's like, man, you fucking Jesus Christ. Shut up.
Maybe it turns out that guy is still inside him. And he's just like chilling.
Yeah, he's hitching a ride.
Yeah. Woo!
Yeah.
He's like, remember when Cisco was taken over by the killer, like,
yeah, and he's like, it's okay,
he's like,
I'm chill.
Okay.
I'm actually chill. I'm alright.
And then he goes, he's jumping again.
Yeah.
And they shoot him with a gun immediately.
Wow, that's the correct response.
Yeah,
but then
definitely.
they got over that. They just took him out of Cisco, and then it was all fine.
Exactly,
Yeah, but I guess Hugh's gonna have this extra guy living inside him. He's inadvertently turned their marriage into a throuple.
Yeah.
Oh,
interesting.
You know what? Here's what I was thinking. Maybe if it were like, I don't know. I feel like you could do something with like, maybe if it were like a female trill scientist that went into his body or something.
Yeah.
And then he starts wondering about his own, like, his own gender and stuff. I don't know. Maybe that's something you could do.
Maybe.
But it's like, no, the trill scientist who went into him was also just like a chill guy.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, I don't know. Maybe it'll still be that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing with this storyline.
Lost.
It's not even like a super important storyline, but they just spent enough time on it this episode that it's pissing me off so much.
And probably
we haven't even talked about the actual clue. We have a bottle. It had pure distilled water in it.
Yeah.
What could it be? Well, there's one scientist that the guy that fucking Cronenberg. That Cronenberg just told us about. One of the scientists was Denobulin, and he liked helping people with water purification, weather systems and stuff. And it turns out he put one down on this planet that does pre-warp technology and everything. Pre-technology in general, it seems.
And also
they have rocks and sticks, apparently.
When they're in the hyperbolic chamber, Cronenberg is like, here's a legal pad, and it's actually like
this
original.
Is actually a 1,000-year-old legal pad. It's like,
I don't know why it just made me feel like
it caught me as well. I was like, what?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is it purely just to explain why they just had it written on a piece of paper as opposed to like on a data pad or something?
It feels like something like Cisco would do, but he wouldn't say anything. He'd be like, "Here you go."
Even then,
he would write it on it and then go like, "Here's a piece of paper," and they're like, "What the fuck is this?" And it's like, "Oh yeah, just do it from time to time." I like to have like to handwrite on paper.
I have like little things. I like having paper, but he's like, "This is actually a preserved 19th century legal pad, the 20th century legal pad." Wait, did they say 19th century?
I don't remember, man.
Because that wouldn't be right. Let's just assume it's 20th
Is this supposed to be like a hint at the fact that he's a fucking G-man through time? Like he's from the temporal war or something
maybe.
like that?
Maybe. He just says, I'm resourceful. Yeah. I feel like this is a bad way to do that, because what you should do instead is have Burnham take the piece of paper and just be like, oh, weird. And then have somebody else question it and be like,
yeah, exactly.
Why does he have a fucking legal pad? Why does he have like some fucking 19th century? We've carbon dated it. This shit's from like the 20th century.
Yeah,
it's from the 1900s.
And
then they're like, wait, how did you get this? No, they're just like, oh, I just have it because I like it. I'm resourceful.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like,
that's it.
All right then. Okay,
and
sure.
that's it.
Anyway, they get this. It turns out there's this one planet where the Denobulin scientists built like a big weather machine because they have so much dust storms, and he was like, these people shouldn't be killed by their own planet. Which, how did they evolve to this point anyway and have an issue with the dust storms? Who knows? It doesn't really make much sense. But
they call it a humanitarian mission, basically, as if he like wanted to.
The reason why ultimately he's fucked with the Prime Directive already. This isn't a Starfleet mission. He just kind of did it because he was like, this would be a nice thing to do. But he didn't think in the long term about how in 1,000 years this shit's going to be leaking radiation and not working.
Yeah, honestly,
and didn't leave a note to anybody to be like, hey, come and check on these guys every couple hundred years.
Yeah, it was 1 out of 7 towers. Only one works out of 7 of these like weather towers. Yeah.
And on top of that, I gotta be honest, here's another thing that really annoyed me, okay? So this clue, the clue to the next piece, where it is the clue is this little jar. It's all scratched up with some markings, and it had pure distilled water in it, right?
Yes.
Burnham, they go to the planet. They have to, because it's pre-warp, and they have to go down there and search for it. They have to do the classic, let's dress up as the aliens and go down there and then blend in. Burnham's learning about their culture. She's like, oh, did you know they have 3 gender identities?
Yeah.
Which I'm like, I don't well, never mind.
They have so many words for pain. I'm like, and how is that like, I don't know. Like
I don't get how any of it is important.
I don't know.
I guess it's just because she likes
cause,
xenoculture, xenoanthropology. So
yeah, but I would be like, if a culture had so many words for pain, I would be like, oh, do they like give each other pain? Like,
why do they need that many words for pain?
Am I gonna go like? I guess during diagnostics and stuff, I guess it could be useful. But like, I just imagine immediately that like they're fucked up in some way. They're like, I'm going to do a pain-ah at you instead, and it's a pain that you give to someone by shoving something in their butt or something like that,
So this is the thing, okay? They have this whole thing, she goes on about whistlespeak, how it's like, sometimes they speak through whistling to cover
over
long
great
distances.
Yeah.
Over great distances, they'll whistle at each other to speak because they haven't developed, like, any technology for communication at that distance or whatever.
Yeah.
So they have all this information on the people. Let's jump ahead a bit. Spoiler. The clue is that the markings on the bottle are for the number 5.
Yeah, or something like that.
And so they're like, oh, tower number 5. That's where the clue is. Wait, couldn't they have like figured that out without even going down to the planet?
Because the girl tells them it's ancient, whatever, their language. I'm like, okay.
Why would they not have that information?
I don't know, man. They have
they know everything. They know they've got like. They know they've got fucking 5 words for pain, but they can't be like, this is the number 5.
Yeah, I know. It's like literally like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like the first 10 is like the most basic. Like tends to be the most basic. Like structure of words. You know
especially
what I mean?
seeing as the symbols for the numbers are literally just the amount of lines.
The amount of lines there are. Yeah, I also noticed. I was like, it's like, what the fuck,
It's like, and
but
that
just
wasn't
like
enough.
it feels like they just did it. Like they said, because they mentioned there's like scratches on the bottle or something like that. I'm like,
yeah,
did they like not? They just assumed there were scratches. They didn't.
Just
they
random scratches that look like the exact same layout of scratches over and over.
It feels like
but
someone...
that's the thing. It's like, surely they could have. They could have just worked it out from the beginning, but they didn't because they needed to have an episode where they go down to the planet and Tilly nearly dies.
It feels like someone the thing that caused like a certain incident in like a movie or something was because someone had a smudge on their screen or something like that, and they went, actually, like we could have tracked it the entire time. It was just under the ketchup that I
had
like
a big
from my
ketchup stain.
Yeah, on my
from
monitor,
my burger I was eating.
Yeah, and all this crazy adventure happened because they couldn't see it, but in reality the tracker always worked or something like that, But in here it was just like complete,
They just didn't know that they had the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 look like that. And because they knew all this shit about their fucking intricate whistling language for long distance, and their 5 different words for pain and love and whatever. But no, they just didn't know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's all they needed. Which, speaking of, I thought it'd be really funny. It would have been really funny if they had the whole thing where they make the whole point to be like, not only do they have male and female, but they have other as well. Isn't that great? Yeah. They have generic non-binary.
I don't think that even comes up in any way.
It does because they refer to the child of the guy, the one that's doing the race, as they.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But regardless, I thought it would have been funny if Burnham... It would have been a funny contrast, funny juxtaposition if Burnham is gushing about all this planet and being like, oh my god, they're so cool. They have like 3 different words for pain, and they have 3 genders, and they're like really inclusive and interesting. They go down there, and they're actually like super racist.
Yeah, they're just like...
they see Tilly's red hair, and they're like, what are you doing with a rim bar?
Yeah.
Get that thing away from my child!
Don't even look at me! they immediately arrest her.
See, that's what they would have done in some classic Star Trek. That's easy. Yeah. That's an easy bait and switch setup.
Yeah, absolutely.
Say to the viewer, this planet's so cool and inclusive. Go down there. We have super niche races.
Yeah. We have It just doesn't come up often because we killed them all, like centuries ago.
But instead, it turns out they have a whole. We do a challenge to appease the gods. We have you eat this pill that makes you really thirsty, and then you have to do a bunch of running.
Yeah, you need to run
and
in
not
place,
drink water. And then if you win, then you get to be the one that goes into the tower and then get sacrificed.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oops. A bait and switch. There you go. You talked about a bait and switch, and it happened.
Yeah.
Ooh. Totally
So
wasn't
they go
completely avoidable in a way, because like I feel like they could have just like they could have bullshitted it again. They could have said, "Oh, so like what happens to people that win this?" And they're like, "Oh, you never heard?" It's like, "Oh yeah, my dad was like super didn't want to he didn't want me to grow up, so he never told me," or something like that. He was like insane. And they were like, "Oh, okay, so when you go win the race, we put you in a little room and we kind of do a reverse gas chamber on you by taking out all the oxygen out of the room, you know?"
Well, they wouldn't say that. They would say the gods.
Yeah.
They would get the
They
god's
steal your breath or
They
something
take your
like
breath
that,
or some
whatever.
shit, and then they bring
Yeah.
us rain. Here's the thing that would have, I think, structurally would have been better here. So the whole thing is that the kid of the like leader, the religious leader at least, wants to take part in the race. The religious leader is like, "No, I don't want you to do it. I don't want you to. You can't do it. You're too young or whatever." But they're like, "I want to do it, Dad. I'm big. I'm strong. I'm tough. I can do it." So they do it. Tilly helps them do it.
Yeah.
Tilly, there's a point where they fail, but Tilly turns around and is like, "Here, let me help you," and then they both end up winning. Tilly is the one that ends up doing the rest of the challenge because Burnham is like, "Okay, I'm gonna go fix the machines, so that these people don't get killed
By
they don't die."
radiation, yeah.
Not even the radiation; it's so that the towers can.
Yeah,
start
I guess
again, and then
she
they
does
can be
fix
fine.
them on top of that, yeah.
Which, I gotta be honest, the leaking radiation thing also seems like an issue, but they just kind of glaze over that.
Yeah. It's just a
They
little
just
bit,
kind of don't worry
little,
about
a
that.
little radiation.
It's just a little bit of radiation
you
leaking.
know.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. It just turns the moss a different color. That's fine. It's okay. I'm sure there's no other issues that could cause the ecosystem.
It doesn't leak into the
planet.
groundwater, probably.
No,
or something.
it doesn't. Don't worry about it. What are you thinking about that? Come on.
Yeah.
Tilly gets put in the room with the kid. The kid is like, "Yippee, we get to die." Tilly's like, "Excuse me? We're dying?"
Huh?
Oh, brother.
Huh?
Gets in touch with Burnham. "Hey, they're going to kill me." It becomes a big race against time. They're like, "We got to save Tilly and the kid before they get the air sucked out of them and they die." The only person that can open the door is the dad of the kid. And he believes that, we need to do this for God. The gods will not give us rain unless we do this. Burnham is trying to convince him they're going to die for no reason because the rains will come either way, I promise you. But he's like, "No, you're some strange demon. I don't believe you."
Yeah.
Or are you God? Are you God, maybe? I don't know. Either way, I'm having a crisis of faith against the love of my child.
Yeah.
And their well-being. I feel like it would have been a bit stronger if the dad was more into the kid being sacrificed.
Yeah.
Because because he kind of like...
He attempts to stop her instead
he's not into it from the very beginning.
Yeah, he's like, "Because your mother did this, basically, so I don't want you to do it. He literally said, I promised your mother you wouldn't do this, basically." And
it's kind of set up from the beginning that he's not into it. So we already know that he's probably going to err on the side of the kid surviving. It probably would have been a bit more interesting if the dad was into it.
It was pretty.
If he was you're doing a service. And moreover, it's like it's so crucial that I even accept my own child doing this.
I feel like it was pretty funny where Burnham teleported and she was like, "Oh, you got to do this, to save your." And he went la 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 la, don't no. And he puts his fingers in.
I'm not listening. La 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 la
la.
You're a demon. You're a demon. La 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 la.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. But I
think it would have been maybe stronger if the dad was like. Then that's his crisis at the end is that he's like, what do I do? Because it feels like he already errs on the side of I don't want my kid to die.
You know what? Because
and he could still have that crisis, but then it explores more of the hypocrisy of the religious leader. It becomes more interesting because it's our society, as far as we have been aware, has existed so long on the sacrifice of others, that I'm not willing to be able to do it is wrong. I need to be able to accept that my child will go through this as well.
And
But trying to convince him this is a waste. You need to love each other and not kill each other for gods.
Yeah.
You know?
this
He's already like, I don't want my kid to die. So it kind of, I don't know, it kind of ruins the punch of it a bit for me.
in general, like they have like this thing of like you know, they introduce like they break the first directive, they teleport.
Yeah, they break the Prime Directive. Which, can I be honest here?
Yeah.
I guess this shows that a red directive does not supersede a Prime Directive.
I don't know anymore.
I guess I feel like if a red directive was more important than a Prime Directive, they'd just go onto the planet, take the thing, and then leave and not do anything.
Yeah, because
but I guess a Prime Directive is still much more important than the red directive.
Reyna was like dropping nukes on you know, medieval planets and stuff. You know,
Yeah.
and I've done it so many times I can't even count.
so
You know,
many times.
but yeah, they have like this thing, and then they realize that in the chamber that's where they.
Burnham
child tells
him
him that it's like, oh, this is 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. The kid is like, look, over here is the prayer section. As we die, we pray. Tilly is like, what are these symbols? And they're like, these are numbers. We repeat these numbers to center ourselves. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, what a revelation.
Yeah, very much
Cool.
so. And
Anyway, Burnham convinces the dad that but we're aliens. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
Somebody
no.
put this tower here to give you rain. Just
it's technology.
seriously,
Like
you don't need to kill your kid. It's technology. It's not magic, God, religious stuff. It's not divine in any way. Please don't let my friend die and your child die as well. And then he relents and he's like, all right, I'm opening the thing.
Yeah.
Opens up, gets him out.
By the way, they do the thing. The reason why he snaps out is because Tilly tells Burnham the song that the kid is singing.
Tilly comforts a kid by saying, what's something your mother used to do? The kid is like, she used to sing me a song. I don't remember the words, but I can hum it. They start humming it. Burnham can hear it through their like little two-way radio. Burnham starts humming it, and the dad is like, how do you know that song? And Burnham is like, I can hear him in there. This would have been much stronger if you tied this would have been much stronger if you tied the whistling thing in here somehow. The kid whistles the tune, and the dad hits it, and that's what brings him around. Unfortunately, they don't. I don't know why. It feels like it's like literally lined right up for them. It's like you kind of signaled this.
One of the writers left the script. He was like, "Oh, you know, this is like it's like 9 p.m. I need to go home, you know, to my family. I'm gonna leave it for the morning shift guy, morning shift writer, you know." And then
yeah, that's because that's how writing.
Because that's how writing.
That's how writing works.
Right?
You do a shift, you do a writing shift.
Yeah, exactly. You know. And then the next writer comes in and he's like, "Oh fuck, what's this guy doing?" I guess it's like I don't know. They use the communicators.
They hum a song that their parent liked. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, they do use the communicator. You know, he's like, "Fuck," you know.
Fuck! I had this whole whistling thing.
Yeah, and it's
God
done.
damn it,
you know,
fuck.
they put the script in a pneumatic like tube and send it up to the bosses up there, and they were like, "All right, cool," you know.
This is certainly an episode where it's like if you were more competent, you could make a strong, solid
guy goes on a whimsy adventure of trying to capture the script before it gets the bosses, you know.
Okay.
And he goes through the pneumatic tube. He gets exposed to this, you know, this machine that's behind his work, you know.
Sure.
And, yeah. And then he realizes he just needs to let things go. That's the idea, because his mother died, I think, or something like that, the same night.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. You really were coming up with something there, huh?
Yeah.
You really were going in some direction. I was trying to say, this episode does feel like it would have made a pretty decent like Star Trek plot if it were like more coherent and just touched up in some places, but what is there is not compelling enough to be entertaining
This
or interesting.
episode reminds me of a TNG episode. It's the one
Which episode?
where remember there's like a science guy on the planet. Bill Nye is on the planet, and he puts on like an SOS beacon, and the Enterprise gets there, and then the guy hacks the transporter and teleports like an entire tribe into the holodeck, into a cave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he's like, well, these people were going to die, you know, because of the planet, whatever, it's like cracking. I don't know what was specifically the issue was, but it was like, you need to move these people to a different section of the planet. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And these people are in the caves, and one of them escapes, you know, and he has like this crisis of like faith and
existential
crisis, and he kills himself at the end, you know.
Yeah.
And I feel like this episode it's at least inspired in a little way by that episode. I feel like if they, I don't know, the father like maybe sacrifices himself instead or something like that, you know.
They almost do have a moral quandary at the end.
Yeah.
When the guy is sitting there and he's like, fuck, how do I explain to everybody that we don't need to sacrifice anybody because we've been killing people for hundreds of years? And people have actually even fought to the death over the fact that we've been killing people.
Yeah.
So basically all of it was worthless. But luckily Burnham had a chat with her grandma earlier who was like, I think the sacrifices are bad, actually.
Yeah.
So it'll be fine.
Yeah. Exactly.
Moral quandary averted.
Squashed it.
Don't worry, everybody.
Completed
Actually,
it,
they
mate.
will be chill without doing the sacrifices anymore.
Yeah.
Hooray. And then they
Wow.
leave.
And then I don't even know where is the next clue leading them? I don't even remember. Like, do they say where the next clue is leading them?
I don't remember. But the next thing they do is they have to go see Mullen Locke.
Yeah.
The people that were tracking Mullen Locke were like, we found Mullen Locke, come to these coordinates.
Yeah.
And Burnham is like, all right, let's go. And then the episode ends. The episode ends in such a fucking... It pissed me off. Very last thing is they fucking like... the last shot is like the Discovery orbiting this planet. Bam! Warps out of there. And then all we're left with is like the whistling. And I'm like, motherfucker, you didn't do any whistling in the plot. Like, it served no narrative purpose.
Yeah.
I get that it's probably something that you think is tonally important, you know? The idea of like communication over long distance or something.
Yeah, but it had no impact.
But you had a perfect opportunity to factor it into the narrative and you actively didn't.
Yeah.
So fuck off.
You don't deserve this.
No, you know what? Honestly, they don't. They don't deserve it. You know what? Honestly,
it should have
you did a bad job. This episode sucks.
The episode should have just ended with them warping out, and then like an echoey Hugh going like, I need to talk to Stamets about this, and then it echoes out, Stamets. Like, fuck, what is he talking about?
What else was there?
Nothing.
Paul goes to hang out with Book, and Book is playing his virtual boy on a ship.
Oh, he's playing. He's playing
Virtual Boy Asteroids, and he was like, "Why don't you use the holodeck?" And he's like, "I know it's not. I know it isn't a real ship, so I can't get into it." And it's like, what
this
about
isn't
the
a real
asteroids
ship,
you're shooting?
Yeah.
Like you're on a real ship, but you're doing something fake still. Who gives a fuck, moron? You fucking idiot! If you wrote this, you're a moron.
Food.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm going antagonizing mode. If you wrote this episode, you're a moron.
Jesus,
you had so many different avenues to take for certain things, and you didn't take them. And either A, you were told not to, or B, you didn't realize them, and you're stupid. Sorry.
Let's have a look who wrote this episode, huh?
Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Am I right?
Sorry, not sorry.
Nah, it's very inflammatory. I'm being facetious. I'm being hyperbolic.
He's so you can't criticize Ben now because he said it's a joke.
Hold on, let's see. Well, who did write this episode? Am I doing something that I'm gonna get in trouble for? Let's see. This
Gene Roddenberry. I thought he was dead.
Oh my god, Kenneth Lynn and Brandon Schultz. Let me look up Kenneth Lynn. He's a playwright. Fuck you, motherfucker.
He's a
Film and
playwright.
television work: Warrior, Sweet Bitter, House of Cards. You should have caught on what was happening with that guy beforehand. That's I'll take it that
You're
one.
blaming him
I'm not
for
gonna
Kevin
finish that one.
Spacey.
I'm not gonna. I'll leave that one behind. Nah, they just wrote a bunch of stuff. I don't know what it is.
I guess
a lot
they
of
maybe
theater
it was
work.
a night shift. It was near the end
You're
of the
right,
day.
this
The
was
whistle was
the-
going off. They had to like push in the last script out, and that's where it was. The whistle.
You're
going.
right. You're 100% right. This he was phoning it in. I
Purr,
agree.
purr, like the steam whistle was going off, and I was like, "Fuck! I need to finish my shift. I need to punch my punch card out." You know.
And then there's Brandon Schultz. I
Out
feel like I
the
recognize that name, Brandon Schultz. I need to look that up. I'm putting them on blast.
blast.
The two of you. Here's the thing: the two of you should be able to. Two brains are better than one, right? But even then, you guys didn't. You couldn't connect the dots. You had it all right there, Mr. Brandon Schultz,
Mm-hmm.
the writer of Blade, Bloodthirsty, and Blockheads, Mission G animated web series, and Star Trek short treks and Star Trek Discovery. This motherfucker wrote 33 episodes, man.
Well,
No wonder this show sucks. This dude's writing on the whole series. Mr. Brandon Schultz. He's
how
the
dare
story
you.
editor. He is literally the story editor for Discovery. No wonder
Ah.
this episode sucked ass. He had more of a hand in this one. And it sucked. I'm putting him on blast. I'm putting them on blast, Max. And I
Yeah.
expect you to support my decision.
Oh, I need to stand with you. Is that what you're saying?
You need to stand with the Dead Ensigns community.
What do you want, community? We need to ask Ash what he thinks, and then we can.
Ash, if you're listening to this episode, let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Now, at us like you usually do.
Yeah,
Anyway.
yeah. After finishing the episode.
Anyway, the end of the episode is like, fucking, they get a call saying we need to go to this other thing, and they do. One of the last conversations is another conversation where Paul is like, Hugh is like, Paul doesn't understand what I'm going through.
Oh wait.
And again, I was like, what do you mean? He doesn't understand. I don't understand. Nobody fucking understands because you're not articulating your ideas.
Yeah.
Fuck that
Another
shit, bro.
the
It's
the
infuriating.
what was it, the actual, because they were like, what does this clue mean? And they're like technology, misunderstood technology can be dangerous or something. That's what Burnham said.
I guess.
Oh, and I feel like it's not.
Burnham and Tilly were sitting around being like, so what did this whole adventure mean? And
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
like, I don't know.
Yeah, let's go out with
You
some
gotta
bullshit.
be careful about technology, I guess.
Yeah. What a lesson that you fucking broke the Prime Directive. I guess he
Yeah.
also broke the Prime Directive by building the thing. So does it say that like you need to break the Prime Directive if people are in need? Is that could be a lesson that you could take out of it? You know?
That's a bad lesson.
Yeah.
That's basically I guess they couldn't say that because that's basically every single episode in which they break the Prime
Yeah,
Directive.
exactly. You know, and it's like
So
water towers are cool. That's the
message is communication.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's good. Get yourself a phone. You guys don't
Message is if your loved one wants to kill themselves for the greater good, don't let them, because it will turn out that the greater good is actually an automated
Device,
system
yeah.
that has been doing shit on its own anyway.
Yeah.
I wonder how they even came to the conclusion they need to kill people. Like,
Yeah.
if it was
It's-
still just working,
Yeah.
why did they even kill anybody in the first place? Was somebody just like, maybe we need to sacrifice somebody for it to happen again? And they
Yeah.
were like, I guess.
Can you
we
just
could
not
try
press the
that."
button? Yeah.
Like, how
That's
did they come up with all these challenges and stuff?
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking? Maybe it would make more sense if the challenges were originally like subtle steps that the Denobulan scientist put into place that the this society thought, oh, these are challenges. These are the things that you have to, the acts that you have to do to make the gods bring the rain. But in actuality, they were things that you had to do maintenance on the machinery.
Yeah. But then it's like,
but then over
corrupted,
800 years, it's changed in such a way that the things they're doing to the devices are actually causing it to function worse.
Yeah. They're like,
and they need to find a way to like get them back on track almost, or question even if they need to get them back on track because they're breaking the Prime Directive to begin with anyway.
Yeah.
You know? But no, instead it's like, my kid, they're sacrificing themselves and I don't want them to.
Maybe
don't let them. Oh, if you insist.
Maybe that scientist was just having a giggle, you know?
Maybe.
He was just
Maybe.
made
Well,
that
no,
shit
because
up.
Burnham made a big point to say at the beginning, well, there's no way the scientists would have known that they would start sacrificing each other for the thing.
No.
It's like, yeah,
He had no
well,
way.
maybe. He could have instituted that.
Yeah.
Maybe he put the thing down and he came down as a god and was like, hello, everybody. You need to kill each other once a year in order to bring the rain.
Yeah.
And they're like, prove it. And then he's like, clicks his fingers and it starts raining. And they're like, oh my fucking god, this guy is god.
Yeah.
We have to sacrifice each other once a year. Maybe he was like a fucking prick. Maybe he was just fucking around.
Yeah, the thing is, like, if he didn't want that to happen, right? Why did he make that fucking machine so easy to get inside of?
Yeah. Like, they just go in, they treat it like it's a temple.
They treat it as if it's a fucking temple.
If it's just supposed to be an automated thing, how can they get in there?
Yeah, you could go in, they could literally go inside the room that, like, it checks all the oxygen out of itself.
Why can they do that?
Off.
You're right. Why the
Because you
fuck
could
can they
argue
do
that it's like maintenance, but at the same time, this guy probably had teleportation technology. He could just go in there. They could just like
I
teleport
felt
in
the
there.
same way when Burnham opened up the rock so easily. I'm like, why? This seems too easy to get into.
Yeah.
This is like way too simple, man.
She gets one of those like things that you get with your phone to eject like the SIM card with, and she presses it in there, and it pops out.
Yeah.
But,
Which, by the way, they had like fucking little like eye things this episode. What was up with that?
What eye things?
They had the little like fucking
the
contact lenses.
They
or
mentioned they
Crazy
do a
thing.
throwaway line of like, there's this prototype of the tricorder that's an eye. Here you go. It's a lens. It's a
this lends credence to
contact
the thing I was
lens.
saying the other week about how they look the tricorder as being way too corny of a visual, so they
Yeah.
want to get rid of it.
But it was so
They don't
cool.
want to deal with that anymore.
But
it was
I-
cool,
I
but they
loved
don't want
the-
to
I
deal
loved
with.
when,
They
like,
hate. I think they don't like the idea of Star Trek being like,
Corny.
oh, these guys,
Yeah.
corny. Oh, guys beam down to a planet and start waving around some devices. Like, they want it to be exciting Star Wars, you know.
But it's like so good. Like that's the thing.
I
is
know
that
it's
that's what
good, but
the thing is
people are
that
making
that's
fun
what
of it.
makes your show iconic. Is all these fucking things, all these props. I haven't seen a single prop in this fucking show that was like, oh yeah, I would like to buy like a copy of that. I would like to own that, you know, on like
That's
as like a fun
because
little thing.
props are not prestige, Max. Prestige TV doesn't need props. Props
Yeah.
are corny.
Yeah,
right?
props are corny, like, you know. That's
Props
how you
are
fucking
corny,
sell your
they're
show.
hacky, they're hokey. Fuck you.
And you let people enjoy your show in a different like
We
way,
could
you know?
design some kind of weird, sleek future tricorder, or we could just do some visual effects.
Yeah, we could just make
Maybe
the
that my eye
PNG
glows
fly in
blue
front
and it
of her
goes,
like
meow.
that one episode. Fuck
That's
me.
it. So I've got the scan of the thing.
Yeah.
You said this is a prototype, right? This isn't like directly beaming radiation into my corneas, is it?
We haven't tested for that.
Well, I mean, it's a prototype for a reason. We'll
Makes
find
you
out.
Infertile immediately.
I don't know. This show sucks. Thanks for listening.
Yeah,
That's
four
been
more to
Dead
go.
Ensigns.
4
Season
more
5.
years.
Episode 6.
4
Whisper
more
speak.
years.
I mean, whistle speak. Hey, Max. Hey, Max.
Yeah. I can't hear it because the Discord thing is removing that.
Okay, well, get rid of what you just said
no.
and pretend. Just
Oh,
pretend
no.
you heard me say something.
Oh no, is this like some sort of like metaphor for the idea that in our society the whistle speak wouldn't work because we have noise removal technology and our other ways of communicating? Well, maybe it's some sort of message that you can take from this.
Okay, well, Max, what you're going to do is you listen to that in the recording and then edit in your translation of what I just said.
Yeah, okay.
And be like, and let them know what the
okay.
whistles speak meant.
Okay, we'll
All
do.
right.
I'll put subtitles in the
In the audio.
in the audio. Yeah.
All right, cool. That's a good idea.
All right.
Have that playing, and then over the top of it, like an AI generated voice interpreting what I was saying.
I'll just put a square bracket.
This guy
whistling.
is speaking with whistles.
No, I'll just have square brackets whistling, and that's it.
Yeah. All right, okay. Thanks for listening to Den Ensigns. This has been another shitty episode of Discovery. Thanks for listening. I've been Ben. This has been Max.
Bye.
That took you way too long to say hi, bro.
Hi.
Yeah, if you'd like to listen to more, check it out on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, also on YouTube. If you go on YouTube, you can leave a comment. If you don't want to leave a comment, you can email us at deadensigns@gmail.com instead. We're also on Twitter and Twitch, and yeah, we side. You know what? In the war between Drake and Kendrick Lamar, we're hoping for peace. Am I right, Max?
Yeah, exactly. You gotta hope for peace every single time, and also we gotta. I'll tell you something next episode, Ben. After, okay, I have to.
Okay.
I need to talk to you about something. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well,
we need to cover some things. Okay.
Okay. All right. Goodbye.
Bye.
It's shorted out, sir. We're gonna have to phaser it.
Then what are you waiting for?
Right away, sir.
Faster would be better, Ensign.
I can't, sir. We don't want to...
That's enough.
But, sir...
Stand aside, Carlton. I'm going through. You're alive. Good.